Okay, this is a meeting of the Fall River Commission on Disability for Thursday, May 10th, 2024. And I will read the open meeting law statement. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting, or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. Okay. So next we have attendance.
Chairman Dennis Paulselli.
Present.
Vice Chairwoman Debbie Pacheco.
Present.
Commissioner Lisa Silva.
Present.
Commissioner Dan Robillard.
Present.
Commissioner Ann O'Neill Souza.
Present.
Okay, next item is public input.
Mr. Chairman?
Yep. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Motion to take the agenda out of order and to begin with the proposed MOU between the Fall River Police Department and the Fall River Commission on Disability.
Okay, and there's going to be another item too. So do you want to do any voting items? Do those at the top?
Correct.
Okay. Yep. Will you accept that? Well, I don't think the chair should be making friendly amendments.
Motion to take the agenda out of order and to proceed with all voting items first. That's my motion.
Okay. Do I hear a second to that?
Debbie Pacheco, second.
Okay. Roll call?
Chairman Dennis Paulselli.
Yes.
Vice Chairwoman Debbie Pacheco.
Yes.
Commissioner Lisa Silva.
Yes.
Commissioner Dan Robillard.
Yes.
Commissioner Ann O'Neill Souza.
Yes.
Okay. So the next item for discussion, the first item to be voted on is the issue of the memorandum between the Fall River Police Department and the Commission on Disability. I will entertain any motion for discussion.
Motion to reject the MOU at this time between the Fall River Police Department and the Fall River Commission on Disability.
Do I hear a second to this motion?
I'll second that, Lisa.
Okay. So now we'll have discussion. Are there any questions? Any questions or discussion? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Thank you. There are other underlying issues between the Fall River Police Department and the Fall River Commission on Disability right now. I think those should be resolved prior to any vote on any MOU. Secondly, if we're going to discuss the contract, I think this contract in a lot of areas is vague and non-specific. So for those reasons, I would motion to reject it.
Are there any other comments and questions? Okay, I just want to double check with everybody. Are there any other comments or questions? Okay, I think we're ready for a roll call vote.
Chairman Dennis Paulselli.
Wait, sorry, hang on.
This is a motion to reject the MOU, correct?
That is correct.
Chairman Dennis Paulselli.
Now, this is the motion to reject, right? Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Right.
Okay, I'm voting yes to reject.
Do we need somebody to second?
No, the motion's already been made.
Okay.
I'm voting. I just want to make sure that a yes vote, I should have said that originally. A yes vote means you are in favor of the
Rejecting.
motion to reject. A no vote means you're not in favor of rejecting the motion. I apologize for that lack of that lack of clarification. So go ahead. I'm going to vote yes.
Okay. Chairman Dennis Paulselli,
Yes.
Vice Chairwoman Debbie Pacheco,
Yes.
Commissioner Lisa Silva,
Yes.
Commissioner Dan Robillard,
Yes.
Commissioner Ann O'Neill Souza.
Yes.
Okay. The next item to be voted on is, and the motion passes, by the way. The next item to be voted on is an email that I received that actually came through Sandy. The name escapes me right now because this was so long ago, but I've been doing the reading on the issue. I've been receiving numerous emails because I belong to an organization of the blind, and we're all being asked, commissions on disabilities and organizations around the state are being asked if we could support a bill for accessible trails in Massachusetts. So what they want to do first is a study of exactly what's out there for accessible trails, and then they can come up with any cost or budgetary items and stuff like that. And so far, there are numerous commissions on disabilities that have endorsed it. They only need from us a letter of endorsement. That's all they need. And so far, there have been commissions as close by as Westport and New Bedford that have gone on record, Boston, Framingham, Northampton. This is being spearheaded by the Northampton, but there are also disability-related organizations. So what I'm asking is if the Fall River Commission on Disability if we can add our endorsement to this bill that's both in the House and the Senate version on accessible trails in Massachusetts.
Motion to authorize the chair to write a letter of endorsement to the state bill on accessible trails.
Do I hear a second to that?
I'll second it, Debbie Pacheco.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Okay, I'll entertain a roll call vote.
Chairman Dennis Paulselli,
Yes.
Vice Chairwoman Debbie Pacheco,
Yes.
Commissioner Lisa Silva,
Yes.
Commissioner Dan Robillard,
Yes.
Commissioner Ann O'Neill Souza.
Yes.
Okay. Those are the voting items. I'm going to go back to the beginning of the agenda.
Motion to regular order.
Okay, do we need to vote on that, or I'm not clear here? I need some help. Do we need to vote to go back to regular order?
I would think so, because we voted to come out of order.
Okay, then do I hear a second to go back to our regular order of business?
I'll second that, Debbie Pacheco, to go back in order of the agenda.
Thank you. I'll entertain a roll call.
Chairman Dennis Paulselli,
Yes.
Vice Chairwoman Debbie Pacheco,
Yes.
Commissioner Lisa Silva,
Yes.
Commissioner Dan Robillard,
Yes.
Commissioner Ann O'Neill Souza.
Yes.
Okay, back to regular business. Is there any public input? We'll entertain public input. So is there any public input? I'm sorry. Is there any public input? And last call, is there any public input? Okay, next item is approval of the minutes for the meeting of April 10th, 2024.
Make motion to approve the April 10th minutes of the Fall River Disability Commission.
Okay, do I hear a second to that?
I'll second it.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All right. Is there any discussion? Okay, I'll entertain a roll call.
Chairman Dennis Paulselli,
Yes.
Vice Chairwoman Debbie Pacheco,
Yes.
Commissioner Lisa Silva,
Yes.
Commissioner Dan Roblard,
Yes.
Commissioner Ann O'Neill Souza.
Yes.
Okay. Updates. I don't have any ADA updates right now, except to let you know that beginning May 1st, ADA improvement grant applications are open. And I've been in touch with Al Oliveira and Rhino about getting together the ADA work group to see what we can go after. There is no rule that municipalities only should go after grants and then have to wait a while. That just doesn't exist. There's no such rule. So municipalities can apply for these grants as many times as they feel they need them. And so the grant period is open. And I believe it's a short window this year of June 14th. So that's a rather short window. So it's open. I think I would suggest that if anybody, has some ideas, that they can either get them to Al Oliveira or Chris Perrino, because that's who we've been working with, or you can get them to myself or to Dan or to Lisa, and we can when we meet with Mr. Oliveira, we can we can voice those ideas. So is there any policy updates? Vice Chair Debbie Pacheco?
None at this time.
Okay. Finance. The budget report for the month of April has been distributed. And under outreach, once again, I really want to thank Lisa. I want to thank our Vice Chair. I want to thank Dan. Dan has really been working very closely with the McGovern staff because we had another very successful scholarship brunch. And I'm especially indebted to Mayor Paul Coogan. He's attended every one of these events. And it's really an honor and a privilege to have him as part of our events. So I'll be sending out a thank you email for him, but also, Ann, if you can convey the Commission's appreciation too, that would be appreciated.
Absolutely. Thank you.
But it was another great success this year, and so I just want to thank everybody here for making it so. And I did talk to a couple of guidance counselors after. They really liked the way we do it. They gave me some very positive feedback, and so does anybody else have any comments?
Dennis, the only thing that was discussed on Sunday that was a recommendation was we consider having it hosted at either Diamond at room 251 or at the Granite Grill at Durfee, seeing that it's scholarship to students. So that was just a recommendation that came out of Sunday. It's something that I guess we can talk about moving forward as we're planning for next year.
We did because we barely got in this year because we decided to change from June to May. So yeah. we barely got into McGovern's this year. So what we did, Madam Vice Chair, what we did was we did put down a deposit for next year already.
Okay.
So it might be it might be something in years to come, but I think that for next year, we wanted to make sure that we were locked in already. So we did put down our deposit for next year.
Okay.
And that was included in on the bill the overall bill that we had to pay. And the other thing is, and this will be discussed in our outreach work group, is that we are actually getting some more suggestions. There's I know Bishop Conley closed, but there have been other suggestions that we might include schools where there are residents of Fall River attending those schools, such as Bristol Aggie, and such as a couple of parochial schools in the area where people with disabilities, students with disabilities who reside in the city of Fall River should be able to go after those scholarships as well. So I want to hash this out with our work group and come back to the commission perhaps in the fall. But I think it's really worth something taking under consideration. We also had a suggestion that Durfee in particular, because there's a larger population, there might be more students with disabilities, and they've actually suggested that we might consider one or two more. So we really have some things to consider in our work group and to bring back to the full committee for discussion, because I think they're worth talking about.
That's great, Dennis.
What's that? Does anyone else have any feedback? Okay, hearing none. Is there any old business? Is there any new business? Our next meeting is June 12th. So is there any other new business to come before us?
No.
Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Do I hear? Oh, I'm sorry. I did hear a second. Okay. Roll call?
Chairman Dennis Paulselli,
Yes.
Vice Chairwoman Debbie Pacheco,
Yes.
Commissioner Lisa Silva,
Yes.
Commissioner Dan Robillard,
Yes.
Commissioner Ann O'Neill Souza.
Yes.
Okay, we are adjourned.
Great. Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay.